This is a HeadGum podcast.
You will dream it.
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey,
Neil.
hey,
Come on.
hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Lindsay Weber,
I'm Bobby Finger.
and it's Friday. Well, technically it's Wednesday, but it's Friday for you, and
We don't have to announce
are
that, you know.
answering your calls.
For all they know, we record. It's live.
They know it's not live. They know. If you came to our show last night, hope it was good, because we haven't done it yet.
I'm sure it was wonderful.
If you are in New York and you either went to the show last night or you haven't been to a show yet, or you've been to a show a while ago and you're like, that was really fun, I'd love to go to another one. We have 2 more shows. One is in July, one is in August. You should come.
Yeah, you should come. They're a lot of fun. They're so much fun.
They're a lot
They're
of fun.
both going to be exclusively about Westworld, which is exciting for you and us.
Do not promise that. Do you know Westworld season finale is like next week or some shit?
Yeah, it's Sunday.
I can't wait. I'm so happy.
Did you see the trailer for it? I was
No,
like,
I haven't even
I don't
watched
even know
last week's.
what's.
I haven't watched last week's episode because
We
we didn't have to do it.
I almost texted you about it because I was like, wow, I can't believe spoiler, but I didn't. Although, who cares? Even would you have been mad at me had I spoiled it for
No,
you?
I literally am immune to spoilers about Westworld. I'm like, it could be real, it could be fake. I don't even trust that you even know what you're watching anymore. So if you spoiled it, I'd be like, do you even know that to be true?
Did you hear the call about Celia Ward? Because Celia Ward's on Westworld.
She is as what?
She's Ed Harris's wife.
Oh, but
And
like,
so there's a whole flashback about like what happened.
Celia Ward is like early aughts law procedural who?
Yeah, and 90s.
Right.
Most iconic. Josh was like, I don't know how I could tell exactly what he was like, why do I recognize her? What is she from? And I was like, she's Harrison Ford's dead wife in The Fugitive. And he was like, yep, that's it. First call.
I'm exceptionally late for work listening to the podcast, and I started singing. I'm like, I just have to call and let you guys know. Brody was invited to Kim's wedding. He was not given a +1, and he was like, well, I'm going to bring my girlfriend. And Kim's like, no, you're not, because I don't know your girlfriend, and we're not having any randos at our wedding. Sorry, your girlfriend's not invited. So Brody was like, fine then, I'm not going to the wedding. Now, Brody is such a who that I don't know if that girlfriend is his now wife or what, but that was why Brody did not go to Kim's wedding. He was invited, he just did not go because his girlfriend of the time, maybe wife now, who knows, didn't Google it, did not get invited and was not invited and would not be able to come with him. And if he brought her, they would have to deal with Kanye and his security, and I don't know what that means, and I don't really care because Kanye is canceled. But that is that for y'all, and I'm sure many people who watched the Kardashians at the time and were very much into it will tell you that, because if there's one thing I remember, it is the Kim and Kanye wedding Kardashian episode. Bella Thorne. Bye.
I forgot about that. I knew that I forgot it. Helpful clarification. Thank you.
Is it worse to not get invited or to get invited but without the +1 for your girlfriend? And then be denied
I think
the
not get invited.
+1?
I think not get invited.
I don't know. I feel like getting invited and then not getting a +1 to your sister's wedding, your stepsister's wedding.
Sister's wedding. Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's family, you get a +1. But +1s are tricky business. But if it's family, you get a +1.
No. I don't mean in general to some stranger. I mean to your sister's wedding. And she's like, you don't get a +1. I don't even trust you to not bring a random, you know? Like, you're definitely going to bring a random. I don't need a random at my wedding.
But I mean, truly, the biggest indignity is that it wasn't even a random. It was the woman that he eventually married.
He would marry, and then Kim would not go to their wedding. It was, yeah, it's an indignity.
Kim didn't know. Kim didn't know. Also,
Don't give Kim the benefit of the doubt on this one.
I don't want to give Kim the benefit of the doubt. I'm just wondering what the process is for someone that rich and important. Like, how many levels does your guest list go through before the invites go out the door? You know, like Kim makes the original one, Kim and Kanye. Then how many people does it pass before they're like, yep, no, Kim, maybe you should second guess this? Like, how many people advised her on that guest list? I'm sure several. I'm sure maybe she was like, question mark when it comes to +1, like, you decide. And they were like, don't give it to him, Kim. Like, I have a
Who's they?
feeling.
Like Chris, like sitting there.
Chris. No, honestly, Chris. Anyone else?
Chris is like sitting there licking every envelope just because, like, for that personal touch to get some of that get some of that original Kardashian DNA on each and every.
Just in case
piece
they
of
check,
mail.
she wants people to know that she's that involved.
She's that involved.
They might do a DNA test.
Okay, next call.
Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Bobby. This is Amy from Long Beach, and I'm calling you once again, even though I know you probably won't play my call, but I thought it would be important to let you know, in case you didn't already notice, that Casa Zeta Jones posted 3 times today, which is exactly how many other times they have previously posted. So they have literally 6 Instagram posts. And I was kind of wondering why I was getting these random, like, photos of beds and sheets in my feed, and then I actually stopped to take a look at the account, and that's who it is. Anywho, just thought you'd like to be the first ones to know. Bye.
So, Casa Zeta Jones has a brand new line of hideous home goods.
Well, what's funny is that when this launched, I remember us talking about it, and we were obsessed with the fact that there was only 3 Instagrams, and they were like a grid, but like a horizontal grid, where like she's lying on a couch and she's like cut off at both arms because the arms are like continued in the rest of the grams on either side. So
the
like,
joke was that they were like, "Hey, Catherine, we need a square photo," and she was like, "No, you're getting one. You're getting
one.
this
It's gonna be long." And so she never finished the grid. Like the grid just remained until literally, thank you so much, caller, yesterday or the day before, I'm not sure when she called in.
It's yesterday.
3 more pictures appear. They are not in a grid form, which is interesting.
They are 3 because they have to maintain Catherine Zeta-Jones's body at the bottom.
Right, because she can't have her body
The
get
thing
cut
about
off.
the thing
Grids
about
are
doing
terrible.
artsy stuff with like fun, 3 photo grid moments is that you have to post in 3s. Otherwise, you're fucked. Otherwise, Catherine Zeta-Jones is an amputee.
She would be like one of those magic tricks with the guy with the girl gets her head cut off and the head's like over here and the legs are over here, you know? Like she's like, her arm is like up in the top left and like her legs are like bottom right, whatever. The new 3 photos are of her pillow bedding line.
So ugly.
2 are
It's
like
so ugly. I can't even look at it.
it's like extraordinarily ugly, like not like, oh haha, it's ugly. It's like
I've been looking at this for hours and it's still just completely messing
it's like
me up.
offensive. The one that's truly the most offensive is like a bed, and then at the end of the bed there are just 2 huge chairs and a table in between them. But it's like
Usually, like if you got a huge house, if you're doing pretty well and you have like an enormous master bedroom, it's not uncommon for there to be a sitting area in your bedroom.
But
like,
why is it
But
like-
why is it at the foot of the bed? It makes it impossible to even access the bed.
right, like why would you sit there? What are you looking at? Like you're so close to the bed and you're not in the bed or on the bed. You're just sitting in a chair in front of the bed. Anyways.
Also, it almost goes without saying, but I think it needs to be repeated because I'm sure we mentioned it before. Captain Zeta-Jones does not, like, there's no way she keeps these on her own beds for more than it takes to have a photo. There's no way these are quality enough for Captain Zeta-Jones. They're cheap-ish,
She's selling them on QVC. They are like 10 payments of like $199. So you're right. They're probably not the quality that Zeta keeps on her own sheets. But
She probably keeps them on in her son's bedroom. I'm sure he didn't change them. Remember when she redecorated her son's bedroom?
This absurd placement of the chairs, though, is probably her setup.
It's all sold on QVC, and every hideous thing you see in her line you can buy on QVC, and she puts in the work. She designs it. She helps like consult. She has this video on here about how she's like, well, when I'm not shooting something, when I'm not on film, I need a creative outlet. So what's her creative outlet? Making ugly pillows. Who cares? But there's this video of her introducing her new bedroom line that I guess we're going to play a clip of here, but it begins, it made me sob. Here we go. Just going to play it again.
Do you know how many hours you spend sleeping? Way too much. So, do it in style, I say. Do it in comfort. And make it pretty.
Wait, what? I do?
Do you know how many hours you spend sleeping? Pause. Way too much. She doesn't even have a number.
Wait, literally that's the opposite of like what humans would say, though.
No, I know. And also, her point, what you should do in instances like this, like Casper ads are like, you spend a third of your life in bed. It should be a comfortable place. Like, every bed company says you spend 8 hours a day in bed. You spend a third of your life. She's doing the wrong thing. It's
she's
the
like
easiest
mixing
statistic.
up the cliche, which is like what I would do. Like, she's, instead of saying like you spend a lot of time in your bed, it should be comfortable, she's saying people sleep too much, but that's not true. People actually don't sleep too much, and that's like what the other selling point would be. It's like, you don't sleep enough. Like, why is your bed not comfortable for you?
Basically, Catherine's getting all of this wrong, but I think she's probably raking in the dough because...
Well, did you see her? She was in the news this week for other reasons too. She told the Daily Mirror that she has had enough of being modest and won't apologize for her fortune, looks, and talent. Didn't you see this?
Yes.
This is actually unbelievable. She said to the Daily Mirror, which is insane, she said, "One thing I'm not is humble anymore. I'm sick of being humble. I really am. So I'm sorry I'm rich. I'm sorry I married a movie star. I'm so sorry I'm not so bad looking." Oh my God.
My favorite thing about that is that she says, "I'm sorry I married a movie star." Catherine, you're a movie star.
Yeah, that's,
like,
yeah.
That's bigger.
You're the star.
It's
wow.
It's the reboot of Excuse My Beauty, okay? It's Excuse My Beauty 2018. I love it.
It's just unbelievable that she told this to the Mirror. Like, that's just wild. And she's just like, I'm not sorry for being beautiful and married to a movie star.
I'm sorry I'm beautiful. I'm sorry I'm married to a movie star. I'm sorry I have the most amazing bedding in the world. I'm sorry I put chairs in front of my bed. I'm sorry I always drape myself on a couch. I'm sorry I only take horizontal photos. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
She's
next
a lot to be
call.
sorry for.
Before we move on, I wanted to point out that the first comment on one of those photos is someone just tagging Who Weekly, which
of course.
is
I mean,
the most wonderful thing to see.
We are like the number one audience for like 3 new Catherine Zeta-Jones photos.
First comment.
Hey, Who Weekly, long time, second time. Did I do that backwards? Whatever. I'm rolling around as one does when they're avoiding chores, and it turns out that Tinashe and her boyfriend broke up, and instead of deleting the pictures of them on Instagram, she just went back and edited all the captions. So in a picture of the two of them posed as a happy couple, it now just says, "was fun while it lasted," or LOL in another picture of them posed together. Is this the best thing or the hooiest thing of all time to refuse to delete a picture of yourself? Yummy Pop Scarjo.
Well, it's just like great because Instagram now has the archive feature, so you could easily just disappear the photos very simply. You don't even have to delete them. You could just like disappear them. I think this is like genius, and I think this is a really good use of technology.
Yes, and Shawnee and Amina brought it up during Who Dat. It's like it shouldn't be a punishment for her because their relationship ended, you know? Like, she looks good in the photos. She doesn't want to delete them.
Yeah,
so why
I just
not?
love that she changed. The thing is, I don't remember what the captions were before, obviously, but just the one that says "lol" is so funny.
Well, one of them was specifically included like love language.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, like hearts and the word love. So I think that may have been the lol one.
I just
because
love
it was
just
so
says,
romantic.
Lol. Lol.
Yeah.
Like she was reading her old captions and responding to them. Cold is really funny. There's one that just says cold.
But I'm happy that she did this. It's always
funny.
She turned something like this very cliche, sad thing for people to do in modern times, which is to delete all evidence of the relationship from social media
into a funny thing.
And
and it gives her like personality. Like, when was the last time Tinashe like had personality to you? Like, this is like very revealing.
When she was on the fire truck.
That was last year. That was a full year ago.
Yeah, but she didn't even want to do that song too. No, the last time she had personality was when she revealed she hated the best song that she's ever recorded.
I know. That was a true blow to our ego, to be real. That really dampens the flame for Flame Fridays to come.
Hello, this is my second time calling about my favorite Who that I follow on Instagram, Jenny Mollen. Her latest notable post is her cover in her pajamas with some very large wet stain running down half of her body, to which she captioned, something like, they always say to cover the penis when you change a diaper. She's very funny. She's married to Jason Biggs, that hooey actor from Orange is the New Black, and has people like Chelsea Handler comment on her photos, and I have no idea who she is, but she makes me laugh almost every day, and I want to know more about her. Thank you. Good form, Bella.
Well, thank you for calling twice about this woman. Twice?
And calling Jason Biggs the actor from Orange is the New Black and not from American Pie.
He probably like paid him to say that, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, this is Jenny Mullen's brother or something.
Calling twice about my friend.
My
someone
favorite
I don't know,
ever person.
Jenny
My
Mullen.
favorite ever person.
Jenny Mullen, she's just a comedian, writer / kind of sometimes actor. The most iconic, quote unquote, not even like in the true sense of the word, thing she did was she wrote a blog about when she hired Jason Biggs, a hooker, and then every tabloid like lost their mind because that's like crazy.
She got a book deal off of that.
And she wrote 2 funny books that were both pretty popular. What else is there? Now she has kids and does kid humor.
She sort of did... she was sort of like Busy 1.0. Like, Busy sort of perfected what she does really well. I mean, Busy sort of perfected what Jenny Mullen started doing,
Busy's
which is
more famous than Jenny.
Yeah. But she was sort of like this just like funny Instagram vlogger, but she did it before stories existed, which is kind of why it's like she was too early in doing what she did. She reminds
me, who's the other woman that people always call about who's a lot like Jenny Mullen? Yes.
But Kelly Oxford is, I think, more a little more deep into the Hollywood scene, whereas Jenny is an author first.
No, well, she was an actress first.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is now she's an author first.
Now she's a comedian or whatever.
And Kelly Oxford is an actress. She was in The Disaster Artist. She does more like TV.
Okay.
I just think that if you compared them both, I feel like both of them would get annoyed. Like Jenny would probably say, "I'm not Kelly Oxford."
Started from different places. Why I compare them is they both do a lot of mommy humor, and they're both like funny people that I think like did really well on Twitter when Twitter was mostly jokes and not terror. And that's it. I don't know. Jason Biggs and Jenny Mullen met on the set of 2008's My Best Friend's Girl, in which Jenny played Colleen, the new girl, which I thought was funny. And I don't know. Well, it's also just like people like to see kind of
realness,
cute relationships, but kind of like TMI realness in terms of like celebrities and what they do. And she is very good at providing that. And I don't think Jason Biggs even gives a shit. So it's like kind of nice, you know, that she's like sharing all their stuff.
Hey guys, short time. I know there's probably way more pressing news right now, but serious question: why is Jason Mraz super lame? I don't know if you heard about his new song to the LGBTQ community called I Am By Your Side, B-I. I am B-I by your side. It's a lame song, but mostly, like, it's just weird because I don't think has ever said that he's bi or anything, so it just feels like too, I don't know. Okay, why is this nice, super duper lame? Alright. Cool. Good fun, Bella. Bye.
Lindsay, I don't know what to make of this. I mean, Jason Mraz, as the caller said, is one of the corniest pop stars that we've ever had.
I mean, he like has a fedora glued to his head. This is like this guy.
He's corny. Like it is as believable to me that Jason Mraz would be a straight person expressing allyship in the most over-the-top way possible by saying, I am by your side, be by your side, as it is for me to believe that Jason Mraz would come out in a song by saying, I am by your side. Because both are corny.
Right.
And I don't think there's any way of knowing until he says anything.
In a way, there's a very thin line for me between thinking that Jason Mraz is extremely straight and he's bisexual. Like, that to me is like, I could believe either one very easily.
Yeah.
If you were like, oh, he's never looked at a man in his life, or he's like loving being bisexual, I'd be like, both of those are very rational for Jason Mraz.
Yeah, neither one would shock me in the least. It's very typical Jason Mraz behavior. But he did say in this interview that you posted here, which appears to be from Vulture. That looks
No.
Vulture.
Vulture.
New
No,
York
this
Magazine?
is from a website called pridesource.com. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Vulture's not like
The
Vulture's
font,
not like,
the
are you
font, the font.
bisexual?
I recall you saying that sexuality is fluid and that everyone is somewhat bisexual. Have you changed your mind? Are you still keeping your options open? And he said, yeah, I'm becoming more of my options. I'm keeping more of my options these days. The older I get, the more fearless I become. That's not to say I'm absolutely fearless. Long pause.
This is
Long pause.
sus.
Man, I should really be careful with my words, especially with this question. So, yeah, who knows?
Jason Mraz is, I don't know. You're right, because this could just be like an allies version of being like, man, whatever anyone wants,
Yes.
man. Like, whatever, man.
That reads, because that answer reads as, I'm an ally and I just suggested the wrong thing, oops. Or, I'm bisexual and I'm not ready to actually come out, oops.
Debating whether Jason Mraz is bisexual is one of the worst things we've probably done in this podcast. You know what I mean?
We're not even debating. We're just saying, I don't know.
I'd rather go back to talking about, like, Catherine Zeta-Jones's pillows, like, you know, than figure out whether Jason Mraz is bisexual.
What's his song? The one about the friend that died? Not I'm Yours. The sad one. The first single.
Why are we still doing this? There's one where he's like, is the memory, is the experience.
The remedy. The remedy.
Is that it?
Yeah. The song, The Remedy.
Oh.
Isn't
Wow.
it about a friend who either died or... Yeah, that's weird. That was his song, right? The Remedy?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I just sang it from memory, so clearly it's got to be the song.
Okay, here we go. This is why I brought it up, because it was the bridge from the song, and I found the lyrics, and I'm saying that they support our assertion that we have no idea. No, they just show that he's been vague ever since he started, which was, 2001?
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2002.
Yeah.
The bridge, I will not sing it. When I fall in love, I take my time. There's no need to hurry when I'm making up my mind. See what I'm saying?
Vague or just terribly written?
No, I'm just saying vague. It's
question.
both. It's both.
He won't worry his life away.
He won't worry his life away. Next call.
Hi, Bobby and Lindsay. Long time. This question is for both of you. I really want you guys to do an episode, or at least a section of an episode, on prominent vamps. Bobby, you're the one who invented the vamp, and we haven't really had an official episode, or, like, I don't know, we haven't talked about the top vamp. Like, I'm thinking people like Tokyo Styles, Alonzo Arnold, Malibu Dollface, all the social media influencers / hairdressers that have like 1.5 million followers. They have people like Nicki Minaj following them, and Kim and Cardi, and all the fucking thems. They all get their hair done by like the same 8 people. And if we could talk about them, I think that would be fun. Okay, chocolate is salad.
Wow.
What a great send-off. Thank you for using that.
I wasn't expecting a throwback so far. This is a great idea. I think we're just going to have to do a full episode on vamps. You're right. We haven't talked about them.
In the near future. Maybe in July. Why not? We can do what we want.
Maybe next episode. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Let's not make any promises. At some point in time.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
It's a really good idea. Here we go.
Hi, Bobby and Lindsay. I watched the really iconic film Set It Up from Netflix last night, and I wanted to know a few things. Number one, are Lucy Liu and Taye Diggs thems? I think they are. Number two, who is Zoe Ducha and Glenn Powell? Her mom is Leah Thompson, who I think is a them, but maybe not. I don't know who the fuck her dad is. Some guy named Howard. Anyways, just curious. Big Warren Bella Thorne. Bye.
Bobby, did you watch Set It Up?
Of course I watched Set It Up. I did watch Set It Up.
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I liked Set It Up. We've talked about Set It Up. I liked
Not on this
Zoe
podcast.
a lot.
Mm-hmm. I like her
not
too.
On this podcast. I liked Zoe a lot. I liked Lucy Liu a whole lot. I thought Lucy Liu was
So good.
Wake me up at midnight, but don't startle me. Play a lullaby or something that just slowly increase the volume.
Tremendous. I thought Lucy Liu was like the big surprise of that movie for me because I was like, God, I forgot about Lucy Liu. How dare I forget about Lucy Liu?
How dare you forget she's good? Like, she's always good.
No, yeah. And Zoe is great. I was
love her.
less enamored with Glenn Powell, but he was fine.
Glenn Powell could have been played by anyone, I feel like.
Yeah, because it wasn't really him. It wasn't his movie.
Good.
It was her.
And I weirdly just saw Flower, too, which I liked.
I haven't
Remember
seen
Flowers, that weird movie that was promoted by Kim Kardashian for some reason because the director was like her friend or whatever.
Yes, but I never saw it.
I liked it. I thought it was kind of fun.
But Zoe Deutsch is the star of Set It Up, and Set It Up is the new Netflix rom-com that everyone's obsessed with because it's like, the rom-com is back. The rom-com is back, honey.
Netflix
like,
does. But I will
obsessed.
say, Kissing Booth is like one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and Set It Up is very good. So I do appreciate that also, Netflix, in their journey to bring back whatever form of the rom-com they see or whatever, they're doing like both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, but if you ask a tween, Kissing Booth is the best rom-com ever made because it's the only one they've ever seen. So
that's fair, honestly, so fair. But that is one of the worst, like, offensive movies I've seen in a long time.
So
bad.
Anyway, Zoe Set It Up is really briefly. It's on Netflix. It's about like two assistants to like powerful people, and they hate their bosses and their lives because they're so busy. So they set their bosses up so that their bosses are happier and like in love. But then they fall in love in the process. Easy.
It's Zoe Deutsch, Glenn Powell as the two assistants, and then you have Taye Diggs, them, and Lucy Liu, them, as the bosses.
Undeniable thems. Funny. Taye Diggs is funny. Lucy Liu, like, outshines him also. But she's,
like,
again, more of the star of it,
How could you not? But he's also good, too.
He's good. No, he's good. He has, like, a lot of funny, like, slapsticky moments. But anyway, Zoe Deutsch
like
is
she's
famous.
Gonna be a thing, though.
Yes. If she's not gonna be a thing, she's certainly being groomed to be a thing.
But she's like good enough to be a thing. Sorry.
Yeah, oh,
like, she
absolutely.
just is. So she is, if you didn't know, this is kind of the fun fact about her is that she's Leah Thompson's daughter. Leah Thompson, as in famous for
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Caroline in the City.
Caroline in the City. If you watch on Freeform, Switched at Birth, she's the mom. She's good, and she has a family full of actresses and writers. One is Zoe, the other is this girl named Madeline. Her sister. Their father, this is another maybe reason, the person who said Howard, he does something. He actually is a director, and he directed Pretty in Pink and The Whole 10 Yards, and
the one that they met on, which was Some Kind of Wonderful, which is where he met Leah Thompson.
Right, and also many episodes of Young Sheldon and True Blood. So he does everything across the border.
He has one of those very, 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 very typical but under the radar directing jobs. It's like when people go to school to be a director, go to school to be an actor, they have dreams of being like supremely famous, but then they grow into just like
reliably
being busy all the time,
good.
all the time, even though no one knows their name, and that's arguably better.
Like, he's doing episodes of CSI Cyber. He's doing episodes of just like every show you've ever seen.
He has been consistently working for like 30 years, which is cool. What else do we want to say? Oh, Glenn Powell. He's from Austin. Shout out. So Texas boy. I remember him sort of slowly becoming a thing a few years ago, and I was like, oh, Texas boy.
So
Austin.
We've talked about him before, and do you know why?
Because of Scream Queens?
No.
I don't remember why.
Because he was dating Nina Dobrev for a second.
Oh, God, right.
Obviously.
You have that here.
And do you remember that they went to that party at the lake house or something, and John Stamos was there, and everybody was like, why is John Stamos hanging out with Nina Dobrev and Glenn Powell? And the answer was that they were all on Glenn Powell and John Stamos were on Scream Queens together. That's like another one of his like iconic roles. You said the other one was John Glenn in Hidden Figures.
It was sort of a joke, but it's
he looks like a guy who would play John Glenn in Hidden Figures.
Yes,
he's perfectly
he's just
cast.
like hunky. Also, it's sort of a big deal for his career because he got to be in one of the most popular movies of that year, and he's barely in it. Like, he can say, I think he won a SAG award. Yeah, but I think he won like a SAG award for like, oh, you're in a movie with Octavia Spencer and Janelle Monáe and who the hell? Oh, Taraji. And it's like, I won a SAG award, but you're John Glenn.
The only important fact to me about Glenn Powell is that Nina took him to the Huff's La La Land themed birthday party. Remember that? He was her date to that terrible party.
Where they dressed, where Derek and Julianne dressed as the two romantic leads.
Yeah,
Yikes.
and you were like, So yeah, Nina took her then boyfriend Glenn Powell, who is now on the rise. He also, according to this list that was written when they were dating, has a pet monkey. That's all.
His pet monkey, but he had to leave it in Texas because they're not allowed in California.
Maybe that's for the best.
Hi, Who Weekly. I'm not usually a call-in type of gal, but I was shocked, absolutely shocked, when on the podcast this week you mentioned that Rodrigo Santoro is a who, not a them. I'm Brazilian, and like Lindsay mentioned, he's huge in Brazil. And so I just had to call in and ask, are there any Brazilians who are thems? I kind of narrowed it down in maybe 3 possibilities. There's Sonia Braga, who iconically played Samantha's girlfriend in Sex and the City for like 2 episodes. Loved baths for some reason. There's Alice Braga, who's Sonia Braga's niece, who's on Queen of the South and was in I Am Legend, and I think is going to be in the new X-Men movie. And then also Wagner Moura, who is Brazilian and yet plays Pablo Escobar in Netflix's Narcos. So please let me know, any Brazilians who are them. Thank you so much.
It's interesting that you ask this because you named like actually good actors and stuff. Mm-hmm. When I was like, oh, Brazilian celebrities like Giselle, like I immediately
went straight to models too.
Oh, Giselle and like Adriana Lima or whatever, and like Matthew McConaughey's wife Camila. Like these were the women that are listed by Google, and also the women that I thought of. You were like, oh no, I'm gonna actually give you some like the names of good actors, like you know, like Sonia Bragas and like who else did you name?
Wagner Moura, who's like he's on Narcos. Yeah, which I haven't watched Narcos.
I haven't either. And I hate to say, like, he's not a them for sure. And
he's not a them in the United States, but
and
yeah.
Sonia Braga is probably closer to, like, a character actor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of, I don't know. What do you think?
I did not realize... Wait, let me find this. So, she mentioned Paulina Gatan, who I did not know her name, but she's in that movie Sin Nombre, which is really good. And the reason Sin Nombre was a big deal is because Cary Fukunaga wrote and directed it, and that's kind of how he got his start, which is like the reason True Detective exists. It's the reason that like the new It exists, because of Sin Nombre. So he became the themiest person out of that movie. Alice Braga, I wouldn't even call her... She's still a who here. Like, know. Queen of the South is sort of big, and she's the star of it, but that's a hooey show.
Yeah. It's unfortunately Giselle. Wait, you were saying Giselle got in trouble for something? What was it?
Yeah, I think Giselle's the biggest Brazilian them in the United States.
Yeah. It's like, you only need to say her first name, and, like, people know that she's Brazilian, too. Like, that's the other thing.
Right. When you're mononymous, I think it's easy to become a them. Yeah, but anyway, so Giselle...
What? What'd you do?
You didn't hear what she did? So she was, like, in Vogue, and she mentioned that, like...
Well, she did 73 things.
But she mentioned that Instagram models, like, were... What did she say? She was
like they did work that hard?
It's not my generation. I have to be honest about that. I'm older. I'm wiser. If I had to promote myself in the way girls modeling now have to do it, forget it. I wouldn't do it. So everyone came for her, and they were like, how dare you? They're real models. They're working hard, blah, blah, blah. So, of course... Giselle apologized, but she didn't do it on Notes app. She typed it in Instagram stories, and then she screenshot it, and then she tweeted it.
Perfect.
And the apology says, I'm sorry that my words in my most recent Vogue article were misunderstood. My intention was simply to express that I come from an older generation and am not technologically savvy. I admire the younger generation and their skill to manage all the added demand of social media. I certainly never feel that I am wiser than anyone. That's the best line. And I believe that we are all learning. So, like, the shadiest headlines were like, Giselle, I believe I am not wiser than anyone. But she apologized. People got mad at her. But I feel like Giselle is also sort of untouchable. Like, Giselle is a lunatic.
Also, that's an insane way to apologize, but it's a good apology. Again, talking about good apologies.
Good apology. That's a good apology.
Honestly, what is she apologizing for? Like, what are you mad about? Like, any old person is like, looks at social media and is like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, she was getting ahead of people who were going to say, like, Giselle is feuding with Kendall Jenner and Hailey Baldwin. You know, she was just getting ahead of it. And I think it was smart.
Giselle hates Gigi Hadid. Giselle hates.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But anyway, yeah, boring. Giselle and Tom Brady are just absolute nuts. And
well, did you I keep saying it, but you did not watch her 73 things. It's insane. It's wild.
Oh God, is it this? Giselle plays guitar, sings Bruno Mars, and attempts a Boston accent. I will never click that.
Yeah, she's like wicked awesome.
Now, what's something you could tell me in the thickest Boston accent that you can do?
wicked awesome.
Doesn't she like munchkins? Didn't we talk about her because she likes munchkins?
Right. She says she likes munchkins. The best thing about Giselle currently is that she is from Boston now. And so she has to like somehow integrate Boston things into her life. And at the same time as I feel very bad for her, it's also like really funny to imagine her being like going around town like trying to do Boston things or having to do Boston things.
Can I just... Okay. Now that I'm knee-deep in this profile, let me read you a few choice quotes. I'm not a model, she says. Modeling is a job that I do, a career that I've had. It allowed me to see the world, and I was well paid for it, but it never defined me. Girl, have a little self-awareness. It's the only thing that defines you. Second of all, here's this. She talks...
And that's okay. You're good
it's
it.
Completely
You're actually
fine.
the best at the world. You're the best in the world at it.
Yeah. The best in the world. How many people can say that?
And if it was easy, then everyone would do it, and you wouldn't be the best in the world. Like, say you can be the best.
Okay, you're being Giselle's mother. Listen, Giselle. Listen, honey.
But you know what I mean? It's like,
yes,
it's
I understand what you
she's
mean.
like, I don't want to be defined by my modeling. It's like, literally, you are the best in the world. It's okay to be defined by the thing that you are extremely good at.
What's the most challenging shoot that you've ever had?
When I was in Iceland shooting in the middle of real icebergs, but I was on top of a fake iceberg going like that in a slick dress. Thank God I didn't fall.
I love this. She talks a lot about love. Quote, it's my religion. Energy. Quote, everything is energy, right? And vibrations.
Wait, what?
Life is like a tuning radio.
Wait, what?
So she basically, these are her three quotes.
Did they just say like
love,
those words?
It's my religion. Yeah, so I feel it's like
fill in the blank.
This section of the profile seems like a huge cop-out because it's like, she talks a lot about love. It's my religion. Energy. Everything is energy, right? And vibrations. Life is like a tuning radio. But what they don't follow up. Like, they acknowledge that she said these wackadoo things, but they were like, let's not ask questions about that. Let's just let this lie because this is crazy.
Did talk a lot about them each, but it was so incomprehensible that they just like took like the most meaningful parts of each like part that she said.
What do you say when Giselle is like sitting in a chair with a Shih Tzu on her lap and she says, everything is energy, right? You're like, You grab another munchkin from like the pack on the ottoman.
You take a long sip from your large Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, milk and sugar.
You're like, Giselle, I'm the only one eating these. I've almost finished the whole box. I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, it's fine. I've already eaten a box. I ate a box this morning. Don't worry about it.
She's like, do you know how many munchkins I've eaten in a lifetime? I have a list of them right here.
I had 36 munchkins this morning. Do not worry about it. I got that box for you.
Imagine there's two things that I want to imagine. That Giselle has kept account of every munchkin she's ever eaten in her whole life. Or that every morning Giselle eats like she gets to eat 2 munchkins.
Again, it's like that iconic Gwyneth Paltrow's 1 cigarette a week.
Yes.
Giselle just like glides into the Dunkin' Donuts near her and like puts down 50 cents on the counter, and they hand her 1 munchkin.
I think they're more than 50 cents.
Well, but it's Giselle. She can pay 50.
She gets a deal?
Of course.
Giselle, welcome back.
Giselle's.
She's like, I'll have my regular. They're like, yes, 1 chocolate munchkin.
I'll have the usual. A large water, because she likes drinking out of the orange straws, and a munchkin.
This is the worst bit because we've now done it twice.
I love Giselle and her munchkins.
Okay, now, to end this interview, I was wondering if you could take this guitar that I see right next to you.
Sure.
And sing me a song as I see my way out.
All right, so let's see this.
Let's do it, Giselle.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you for stopping by. Goodbye. 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 Thank you for stopping by. Oh my goodness.
We are done for the week, which is a relief for you and for us, because we have to stop talking about Giselle. And anyway, yeah, that was a good episode.
I just yawned. Sorry. That was fun. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more about people and Westworld and all the things that you love the most about this podcast.
And thank you to everyone again who came to our show. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, please.
Yeah, come see us in July and August and call 619-WHO-THEM to leave us a message.
And have a fantastic weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for stopping by.
이호자의 날.
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey.
Hey.
Come on. Hey. I want to be famous.
That was a headgum podcast.